All right, another episode of The Flash. And since I've been doing some Photoshop videos and stuff, thought I'd do one of those for one of my reviews. Yeah, there was an episode of The Flash this week. And it wasn't any good. There have been worse, but it was weighted down, by stuff to fill up the episode, because the only interesting part was, of course, the superhero fight between the Flash and multiple versions of Godspeed. And but it had to have all the other little soap opera subplots they have, which pretty much are what they are. I mean, there is the mystery of what Joe is doing with I done forgot her name, but the lady who took his job, and then he felt sorry for her because she had some mysterious childhood friend from the past who apparently has superpowers and then led her astray way back when. Yeah. Well, anyway, that was kind of boring, but it's all very brief and they don't have much to do with it. Then they're still carrying over of what's her name, Allegra, and not her sister, her cousin, Ultraviolet. Well, she'll turn over a new leaf if they help her get her vocal cords back. So that's what Caitlin's trying to do for her. But, of course, the whole place gets assaulted by the army of Godspeed guys, who at first I thought were like droids, but they're saying they're clones. And each time they show up, they would make this loud noise and sonic crap, which is how they would call to one another. But apparently they were after the Flash because they wanted to drain his speed. And so I guess that's why they were after him. Anyway, they chase him back to Star Labs, and then they put this force field around it, and then they start beating on it. And just so happens Caitlin was in the midst of trying to, deal with Ultraviolet's vocal cords there. And, but there was some sort of booby trap in there, and that sort of thing, like that was supposed to make tension. Meanwhile, the other soap opera is Frost and her, boyfriend, a guy who, I forget what the deal was. He was in prison, but he turned state's evidence. Yeah. And so, but she's determined to throw him back in prison, even though, technically speaking, he's a free man, But, I don't know, she goes and finds him, and turns out he's getting the crap beat out of him by some former associates from his criminal days, but she saves him by making her eyes glow, and they get scared to leave her. And then, of course, with the Godspeeds attacking, she goes to him for help to defend Star Labs against, the assault here. And, obviously they're falling in love. And she says, I don't trust people much, but once you gain my trust, you never get it back if you break it, or, So, that's the big moment there. So, of course, he's going to break it, but not in the midst of the battle. And says, man, I thought we were going to die, but all I could think about was you. And then he uses that in that tender moment to distract her so he can escape. But it's like, why does she have to stay? I mean, he have to stay put. He's a free man. She doesn't have any business holding him there at Star Labs. So, yeah, I don't know. It's all a bit of a mess. I mean, if it weaved into a story somehow, but a lot of the Flash stories, they always had this arc and whatnot, and it became annoying. And then most of them were always about speedsters and stuff like that. But I appreciate that they had multiple storylines going on at once that just aren't that interesting, and they're kind of stupid. I mean, for it's a superhero show, so you want action and stuff, so you get it. But then it's dumb things again they keep doing, where you have not only Killer Frost, but you have now her boyfriend, who also has freeze powers, to fight these super speedsters. And that's all they got going for them. And they use it once, and then the rest of it, they try to do, martial arts against them. They're so much faster than you, so you can't really do anything with that. So it's very stupid, and yet, it works for a while, but then, the real danger is in them. Oh no, we're going to die. But then Barry, it takes him a while to decide to take them all on himself. I mean, he's supposed to be the big hero here. But then he does, and he leads them all on a chase throughout the city, but they get the better of him. And then, suddenly there's a bunch of other Godspeeds that show. So there was 6 altogether, and then they start fighting each other. So it's like, what the hell? That's the only interesting part. I suppose that Joe and what's-her-face looking for her long-lost friend who turned on her could be interesting, but it's kind of dragging. And then maybe there's some connection, I suppose, but it doesn't really matter. And then you could perhaps as a connection with Ultraviolet as well, and even Caitlin's, I'm not Caitlin, she's not Caitlin anymore, but Frost's boyfriend and all that stuff. But there's nothing exciting think about it. It's just there, and a very boring dialogue that's very repetitive. You've heard a million times before. But another thing, which I have to guess this had to do with COVID, maybe, because Iris is not in the episode, so they do the old Barry talks to her on a telephone. And he's suspecting she's pregnant because at the beginning of the episode, he has a dream about Nora, and she appears to him and says everything's going to work out. And he takes this to mean as a sign that they've been, that Iris is finally pregnant, and oh boy, he's going to give birth to Nora. Of course, thanks to the leaks and promos about Bart, we know that it will not be Nora, it will be their son, even who was actually the grandson in the comics, but nevertheless, that's what that leads to. But at the end, it's revealed that no, she's not pregnant after all. So Barry's like, hey, what? But the only interesting thing in it was the fight with the Godspeeds, but of course they screwed that up by wasting time with it, and just same old crap. It's like, well, you did something before, but now you can't do it now for no good reason. The ice people don't use their ice powers. What the hell? So you'd think by now you'd figure that out, but they don't. So Iris wasn't there, so I don't know. I don't recall did the actress test positive for COVID at the time, and maybe she couldn't be on the set, and they just had to shoot around it, and that's what they did. Could have done like in the old soap opera days. The part of Iris West is now being played by the understudy. But they don't do that. But that's about it. It wasn't any good, and it's not much surprise there. And at this late point, would they have something particularly cool? I doubt it. But there wasn't anything particularly, preachy or anything like that. It was just not a very good show, and it's unnecessary. I don't know how. Well, of course, yeah, COVID, but that's not the reasons why that it's that bad. But it's that bad. So anyway, there we go. Here's my image. I can't concentrate on what exactly my review is, but it doesn't matter because at this point the show just isn't what it used to be. And it always had silliness and stuff about it, but there was a certain charm to it, but it's all gone. And so, yeah, they kind of started with a tease with Nora showing up, and you think there's going to go somewhere, but it's not. And you think, oh, are things coming ahead with the other plot lines and whatnot? No. And even if it did, it's probably too late. Yeah. So, I kind of want the word ratings in there. I guess that'll fit good enough for the thumbnail. Yeah. Move over here. The Godspeed guys are in the way. Good enough. So there you are, the Flash enemy at the gates, because they were at the force field pounding on it until they said they drew energy from it through into their chest, but I don't know. I thought they were vibrating their heartbeats to do it. Who cares? So there you go. The Flash enemy at the gates. Thanks for watching and listening. Say, while you're still here, why not like and subscribe and share with your many friends? Yes. Also, check out my mini stores in the link description below. Yes, where you can get t-shirts, hats, mugs, all those goodies with my artwork on them. Oh, yeah. And head over to indieplanet.com and pick up a copy of my comic book, Night Night. Oh, yeah. You can also catch me at my podcast, Mr Nailsin Show, on RadioMisfits.com. And you can also watch my videos on BitChute.com and now on Rumble.com. Oh, my goodness. So many places to watch me and my stuff. Oh, yeah. And if that's not enough for you, well, you can follow me on many social media platforms and say hi to your old pal, Mr. Nailsin.